First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian Quilty with FCHS Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Gloucester County, here with another Family Foodie event. This program is made possible through a grant from New Jersey SNAP-Ed and New Jersey Department of Health and Human Services. So thank you for coming on today. So this week we are doing a fall kale apple salad. So this one's one of my favorites. It's really easy to make and it uses some local ingredients, which is nice. We're using local kale here, got right there. We got some local apples we're using. We're gonna make a homemade dressing, so it's gonna be really tasty. But to start out with, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this here, which is my plate. So for those of you that aren't familiar with my plate, it's gonna tell us all our food groups, right? So we have fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. The main takeaway with my plate is we want to make sure we're getting all the food groups every day. And then another thing to point out is that half of the plate is fruits and vegetables, right? So we want to make sure we're getting enough fruits and vegetables every day. So this recipe, right, we're using kale and we're using apples, so we're making sure we're getting our fruits and vegetables. We're also going to be using a grain in this recipe. So I have a little bit of quinoa right here. So quinoa, it's a whole grain. It's very, very good for you, very high in fiber. It can be used in place of rice in a lot of dishes. So it's a little bit sort of just round. It cooks about the same way. It takes about 10-15 minutes. You cook it the same way you would cook rice. So it's just a nice, healthy whole grain that you can try. So we are going to put some quinoa in there to get our grains. As far as protein goes, I know a lot of us think protein, we think meats and that kind of stuff. But there's other plant sources of protein that are actually a little bit better for us and they're higher in fiber. So I have some walnuts here. So we're going to put some walnuts in the salad as well. Give it a nice crunch, get some good healthy protein in. And then we also have, I mentioned before, some dried cranberries. So that's also going to be another fruit that we're adding in. So dried fruit, it still counts for your fruit for the day, so that's another component. So the one thing that we don't have in this dish is dairy, right? So luckily, it's very easy if you wanted to add some dairy in this dish. You can add in like cheese, like feta cheese goes really well. So if you'd like, you could always incorporate that, and that way you make sure you get all the food groups. So you can see here with just this one salad, you're getting most of the food groups. It's going to make you stay full. It's going to ensure you're getting all the good nutrients that you need. So it's a good one. But I think we're ready to get started on our salad now. So first thing we got is our kale. So that's what you want to start with prepping. I have most of it already in the bowl here, but if you're not familiar with kale, you're of course going to wash it and dry it before you use it, and I did wash my hands right before the video, so my hands are clean. But with kale, we don't really want the tough stem here, so all you're going to do is use your hands, just kind of pull the leaves off, and we're going to discard the stem. Now you can just, if you're cooking with kids or you don't want to use a knife, you could use your hands and break into little pieces, or if you'd rather, you can take your knife here and just do small little pieces. Just be careful, of course. So we got the rest of our kale there, so we'll throw that in. So we have about 6 cups of kale in this bowl here, so we'll start with that. Next thing we're going to do is actually our dressing. So for our dressing, let me just get my bowl out here. So the first thing I have in the bowl is actually some honey. So that is the first thing I have added in. Next up, I have about half a cup of olive oil. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that olive oil in with the honey. So we got that in there, excellent. After that, I have a little bit, about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Go ahead and throw that in there. Alright, just a couple more things. I'm going to do just a tiny bit of Dijon mustard, which I have here, just like about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half. Just kind of eyeball that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alrighty, we got that. And we'll just do a tiny sprinkle of salt. Okay, got our salt. One more thing, we're also going to put some lemon juice in. So we're looking for about, I have a nice little handy juicer here, so this is nice. You just got to watch out for the seeds, so that's why this comes in handy pretty well. Just kind of squeeze it in there. So we want about a 1/4 cup of the lemon juice, so it should be about 1 lemon's worth. Let's see, yep, so we'll just do the other half there. Alrighty, getting there. Cool. So that looks about good to me. The seeds are all on the top, so I don't have to worry about picking those out. Pour that right in. And that is our dressing. So what we'll do is we'll just whisk it just a little bit. Make sure it's all blended up here. So everything goes together. Show you what it looks like before I pour it on the kale. Alrighty, I think that is about good. So I will put the whisk over here. Alright, so you can see there, got a nice good amount of dressing there that we're going to put over our kale. Let me just put this here. So I'm just going to pour it right over. And I'm going to leave a little bit out just in case we don't need it. Now with kale, what I usually like to do is actually massage the dressing into the kale a bit because kale is a little tough. So if you just take like 30 seconds and you can just use your hands, and you can wear gloves since it gets a little messy, to make sure your hands are clean. You're just going to kind of use your hand and just kind of massage it for, 30 seconds is good. If you want to do longer, that's fine too. Just make sure, it's going to make sure it gets nice and tender. So, just going to do that for about 20 more seconds. And it's going to shrink a little bit too, so that's normal. And we're just making sure, I'm just going to use my one hand so my other hand stays clean. So it's already shrinking up pretty good. And I did have a little bit of extra dressing left over, so that's fine. You don't have to use all the dressing. You just kind of make sure there's enough to coat all the kale. You can always add a little bit more later. Alright, so I think that's about good. So now my hand is nice and dirty. Alright, but you can see there, it shrunk down quite a bit, which is good. That's what we're looking for. Now the kale's going to be a lot softer. I'm going to rinse my hand. Very dirty. Get that real quick. Alrighty, so what we're going to do next is we just need to prep one more thing, which is our apples. So you can use whatever kind of apples you'd like. I have some Gala apples here. I have one already chopped, so I'm going to put that actually right in the salad. And then I'm just going to chop one more. That over. So it works out if you have an apple core. I actually do not. So I'm just going to use a knife. We're just going to make sure we core the apple and then slice it into thin slices. Alrighty, we got that there. So then we'll just take each one. Make thin slices about that big. That should do it. Always make sure to curl your hands so you wash your fingers. You don't want to chop anything. Alright, almost there. Do a couple more pieces. So again, you can use any kind of apple you like. I'm using Gala. I think they have a nice flavor, but whatever kind you can. And these are Jersey Fresh, so try to get your local apples. That would be great. Alrighty, so that's all our apples. So I'm just going to toss those right in the bowl. Okay, we got our apples in there. Just stir it up a little bit. Alright, so it's going to be a nice and colorful salad. Alright, it's looking good. Next up, I'm going to add in that quinoa. Again, I mentioned the quinoa earlier. I would just do the quinoa first when you're doing the recipe. It takes 10 or 15 minutes to cook, and then it's all good. So we're just going to pour all our quinoa in. Okay, we're going to mix that up as well. Alright. So once this is all mixed up, we're almost done. Next up, we are going to add in our walnuts and our dried cranberries. So I got our walnuts here, we'll add that, we'll just add in both. Cranberries there. And we'll just mix that up just a little bit. And that is going to be it. So this is a very nice looking salad. It's nice and colorful. I'll show you guys in a second. So I'll show you what this looks like here. Alright, so that's what you're looking at. So that's what it should look like at the end. So you can see it's pretty easy. You know, we do the homemade dressing. We use all these nice fresh ingredients. So again, it's great for the fall, using our local ingredients, and it's a good one. So hopefully you guys try it. Thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate it. But other than that, we'll see you guys next time.